Hey guys, it's Patricia. Today is a new video, so if you are returning, thank you for clicking on it. More to come. And if you are new, thank you again. If you end up liking it, please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. There are more to come. So first of all, I want to say that after this one, if you guys have specific ones you want to hear about, please comment below. And my second order of business is my last video I had, which was 100 videos or 100 questions and answers. I asked everyone at the end of the video to comment below if they watched through it all and if they wanted a shout out in my next video. I only got 3 comments, but hey, it's happening. So number 1 was my mother, and you guys may laugh, but my mother is my number 1 biggest fan. She watches my videos. My boyfriend hasn't watched one of them. So my mother, love you. Number 2 is Cheyenne. She is my boyfriend's little sister, and she's like my second biggest fan. She watches every single one of them, and she always talks about it when we're in person. It's amazing. Love her too. The third one is a Gisela Rose. I hope I'm saying that right. She commented on there saying she loved my hair. By the way, thank you. It sucks today because I didn't do anything to it. But I will post her channel below because it's actually super cool. She does a couple really neat things on there. So I'm going to post it below, keep it in my description so you guys can just hop on over there. So if you guys haven't already found out, today is a serial killer profile, and it's my very first one. Hopefully not my last one, because I'm really wanting to do a lot of these. This one is for John Wayne Gacy, and he was a killer clown. Now I'm gonna say right now that this is my first one, so I'm actually just throwing information in every different way. If I miss anything, or if I say something wrong, or I put too much information about one thing out, I apologize. Please just stick through me. I'll get better over the videos. So first of all, like I said, John Wayne Gacy was a clown. He was a killer clown, to be exact. He was executed in 1994 for the murders and rapings of 33 boys and young men. He buried 29 of those boys and young men underneath his house and his garage, while the others were found in different places throughout the town. A serial killer is defined by one person who does 3 or more killings over a span of time of a month, and it happened. So for the most part, serial killers do their killings for some kind of psychological benefits. Some people do it because they feel like they can't live without it. Some people do it because they get off on it. That's the only way they can be aroused. And we're going to talk about John Wayne Gacy's later in the video. His father worked in a factory, and his mother was a homemaker. She was the mom that they went to for everything. They couldn't talk to their father. They had a girl named Karen, but Gacy's father wanted a boy, someone to carry on the family name. So on March 17th of 1942, they had John. So in his early life, Gacy grew up with a drunken father who would beat on the children if they perceived to be misbehaved, and he would also abuse the mother. Gacy's sister, Karen, would later say that the siblings would learn to toughen up against the beatings, that Gacy would eventually not cry, which just made his father more mad, but it showed how strong he became, and she really wanted to emphasize that. The boy suffered from further alienation at school due to his congenital heart condition, which was looked upon by his father as just another failing, and he was sad about that. He later realized that he was attracted to men, and he experienced great turmoil over that. And his father also, I'm not sure, it never said his father knew, but I'm gonna guess he thought his father knew, or his father did know, and he hated himself for it, because he knew his father wanted him to be proud. He wanted to be proud of his son, and he wasn't. Gacy was a fast food chain manager in the 1960s. This job gave him control over the rest of the team members, and he'd like to control. He'd like to be able to tell people what to do. He'd like to be able to tell people, I am the boss. He wanted control. So he became a self-made building contractor and Democratic precinct captain in the Chicago suburbs in the 1970s. He was married twice, divorced twice, and he also had biological and stepchildren. Gacy's father, like I said, was embarrassed by him. As a child, he would rather cook and clean with his sister and mother rather than go work in the field and on machines, and he was embarrassed by that. So later on in life, when Gacy had gotten married and had children, he was so proud of his son, but Gacy just couldn't do it. He couldn't live a lie, so they ended up getting divorced. There was more to it, I'm sure. Gacy was convicted in 1968 and given a 10-year prison term in relation of a sexual harassment of 2 teenage boys. Sexual assault, excuse me. He was released on parole in the summer of 1970, but was arrested the following year again after yet another teen accused Gacy of assault. The charges were dropped after the boy did not appear in court. I'm gonna guess that boy was one of the 33 boys, but it never says that. It doesn't say anything about that, so I don't know, but it's a good guess. By the middle of the decade, 2 more young males accused Gacy of rape, and he would be questioned by the police about the disappearances of others. It was later discovered that he committed his first knowing killing in 1972, taking the life of Timothy McCoy after luring the teen into his home. I don't remember where I saw it. I did this as a speech 2 years ago in my high school speech class, but somewhere I saw that Gacy had came at Timothy with a large knife, and Timothy went to try and get away. He grabbed the knife, and while in the process of it, cut Gacy in the arm. Being that Gacy was a large male and had a major disgusting agenda, Timothy did not survive and did not get away. So, on December 11th of 1978, 15-year-old Robert Pest went missing. It was reported to the police that the boy was last seen by his mother at the store he worked at, which was a grocery store, as he headed to meet Gacy for a potential job. On December 21st, I'm going to get to that in a second, actually, there was a boy, I think that December 21st was, yeah, so there was a boy, I don't remember his name, I'm not sure if it was Robert or not, but there was a boy who he had into his home, and he did all these horrific things to him, and he ended up letting the boy go, and there are 2 things that the boy remembered. He remembered Gacy's vehicle, and he remembered the exit that he took to go to his home and leave. So when the boy went home, he told his parents everything, and his parents camped out at the exit waiting for Gacy to drive by. They followed him to his house, they found out the address, found out everything they needed to know, and they called the police. And so on December 21st, a police search of Gacy's house in Norwood Park Township, Illinois, uncovered evidence of his involvement in several horrific acts, including murder. It would be later determined that Gacy had raped and killed 33 boys and young men, 29 of which he had buried underneath his house and garage, while others would be recovered by the nearby Des Plaines, which is a town, I guess, in Illinois. I don't know if I put this later in this speech thing, but he would cover up the scent and try to stop the decomposing bodies from decomposing. He would slow it down with lime, I believe is what it was. I couldn't re-find it again, but I watched it in a video about a week ago, and I believe it was lime. It was crazy. Another thing that I saw was about how he got caught was that he had a policeman over for dinner, just to show thanks for some reason, and he had smelled something, and it was of course it was sweet, but he had smelled something underneath it, and he came home and he thought about it for days, and he realized what it was, so he got a warrant and they searched the house. Not sure if those 2 were actually related, but I just remember those 2 things. And I don't know how somebody can be caught twice, honestly, so don't hold that to me, but I remember reading both of those. One of those I have right in front of me. So, if anyone can validate how that all happened, that'd be great. Gacy lured his victims with the promise of construction work, and then when he would capture them, he would take them down to his basement, because that's where he would do everything. And he would ask them if they wanted to see a trick. When they said yes, he would continue to handcuff them to the couch, to a pole, to whatever's around. And he would tell them, okay, now I'm going to take them off. But he wouldn't. And some creepy smile would overcome his face, and they would realize that they aren't going anywhere. And that's what he got off on, control. After the trick, he would sexually assault and eventually struggle most of them with a rope. When he killed, he sometimes dressed up as his alter ego, Pogo the Clown. I want to pause real quick. He was loved in his community. He did children's parties, Pogo the Clown, he was a clown. And he did cultural gatherings. He was friends to all the neighbors. Everyone knew him by his first name. He was a nice guy. Everybody loved him. And nobody even thought that he was capable of this. Now, since I promised you that we would talk about why he needed to do it all, here it is. First of all, Pogo the Clown was his alter ego, but it's also it was also his costume to perform at children's parties. So it's like it wasn't him. By him dressing up as Pogo the Clown and killing them, doing those unspeakable things, it would make him feel like it wasn't him actually doing them. If you guys remember, I did say that his father would beat them and he would have to hide his sexuality from his father and from everybody. So in a way, he was honestly just trying to hide his sexuality. And by dressing up by Pogo the Clown, by cuffing them and feeling overcharged with them, he would suppress his urges to where he wouldn't have to show them out into the rest of the world. And he would torture these boys over a period of time. My guess is he would do it to an extent to where he would feel disgusted with himself and he would stop and have to come back when his urges came back. When he did get caught, I don't remember one thing saying that he actually admitted to doing it. He didn't admit to being gay at all. If he admitted to anything, it would be that he killed them, but he wouldn't admit to raping them. He wasn't gay per se because he still didn't want to disappoint his father. The fact that he buried them underneath his house so he could hide them, and he would cover up the scent with limes to slow down the deterioration process. You know, after he killed them, when he buried them and hid them and did that, it was another way for him just to hide his sexuality. He didn't want anybody knowing at all that he was gay, therefore he had to hide all the evidence. He had to hide everything. And when he got caught, his quote, this quote burns into my head. There's a couple versions of it, and I'll say them all, but it baffles me. One of them says, the only thing they can get me is for running a cemetery without a license. And it's just crazy because you did so much more than that. I don't know. The other way of the saying is the only thing they can get me for is running a funeral parlor without a license, which I'm going to guess that's the same thing. I honestly don't know what a funeral parlor is, but it's just, it baffles me. And I don't know whether him being my favorite serial killer is a way to hold on to my fear of clowns or a way to let go of it. But it's worth a shot. And thank you so much if you watched this video today. Sorry if I didn't get everything in there. If nothing made sense, please comment below. Tell me what you think. If you have another serial killer that you would like to hear about, let me know. I did not prepare for this one at all. Actually, I literally just pulled up my old speech and just put it on the iPod that I was using and just read off of that. However, if you guys have, because I don't know much about any other serial killers, my next one, I believe, is going to be Jeffrey Dahmer, is going to be my next serial killer. So, I don't know when that video is going to be, but I have to do, obviously, research. Hopefully it'll be way better than this one, because I feel kind of like it went bad. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much, guys. Love you. Mwah.